Hey guys, welcome back to another impressions video, and today I'm going to talk about this game right here, Killzone Mercenary for the PlayStation Vita, a first-person shooter developed by Guerrilla Games and published by Sony. And as some of you already may know, the Killzone games are part of an exclusive first-person shooter series for the PlayStation brand. And not too long ago, I did an impressions video on another first-person shooter exclusive for the PlayStation Vita, which was Resistance Burning Skies, and my final verdict was that the game was not very good. It was a below average first-person shooter, but Killzone Mercenary is quite the opposite. This is a fantastic first-person shooter for the Vita that it's just fun to play, and it offers a ton of replay value despite having a very short single-player campaign. So I guess I'll start with the story. I don't want to spoil too much, but the overall concept is pretty simple. You star as, I believe the name of the main protagonist is called Danner, and he's a mercenary and works for a company that takes up on different contracts, and you get paid a certain amount of money, and you go out there to do your mission. So at first your mission is to you work for, your client is the ISA. And then later on in the game, I don't think this is a spoiler. I think a lot of people already know this, but you also fight alongside the Hellghast because they become your client at one point in the game. So I believe this is the first and only game in the Killzone series that allows you to play or fight alongside the Hellghast, which are the longtime antagonists of the Killzone series. So that alone, it was a very interesting thing for me to play this game, and it's really fun. And throughout the game, you have different clients, and I do have to say that the story is very interesting. Again, I don't want to spoil anything, but if you guys have the game, it's pretty short, and the story is, like I said, it's very interesting, and it has a couple of unexpected turns along the journey. So with that being said, let's talk about the graphics, because this game right here is the ultimate showcase for the PlayStation Vita. And if you have this game, cherish it, enjoy it, because as things are right now, I don't think the Vita is gonna get major AAA titles from Sony, especially as evidenced by the last E3 conference by Sony, where they pretty much announced a bunch of indie titles, but nothing major as far as AAA, development games. So I think Gravity Rush 2 will be like the last major Sony first-party exclusive, and I don't think we're gonna see something like this. And the graphics in Killzone Mercenary are fantastic. They really push the Vita to the limit, and just the overall effects in the game, the lighting effects, and just the overall graphic fidelity in this game are really out of this world. This is by far, I would say, along with Uncharted Golden Abyss, this is the best Vita looking game out there, and by default, it's probably the best looking dedicated handheld game ever created. So the game looks fantastic. Graphics wise, there's no complaints whatsoever. The game looks great, and it runs great too. The frame rate, the game never really drops in frame rate or anything like that, not that I could notice at least. So the performance is pretty good for this game. Now, as far as the gameplay, this is where the game, I think, this is where I'm going to spend the rest of the video pretty much, because the gameplay really defines this game. Like I mentioned earlier, the single player is very short. It only took me like 4 or 5 hours to beat the game. But the cool thing is there's a lot of replay value in the form that every time you kill an enemy, every time you complete a puzzle or you collect loot when you kill an enemy, you get money. And with depending, for example, if you kill an enemy with a headshot, you get extra money. If you kill an enemy doing a melee attack, which, by the way, the melee attack makes pretty good use of the Vita touchscreen. You do gestures, like if you're taking a stealthy approach and you approach an enemy from behind, you push the triangle button and you enter this, I guess, QTE type of scenario where you do a gesture on the Vita screen and you kill the enemy doing like a brutal melee attack. and it's pretty fun. It's not very intrusive, you know, the use of the Vita screen. It's not it doesn't feel gimmicky, and I actually enjoyed doing melee kills in the game. But anyways, if you do those, you get more money and so forth. And money is important in this game because this has to be the Killzone game with the most variety in terms of weapons. You can purchase a lot of different weapons. You can purchase a secondary type of weapons. You can purchase different types of grenades and Vanguard loadouts that greatly help you in later on in the game when you're trying to kill bigger enemies. So essentially, you're gonna find yourself wanting to repeat missions over and over again just to collect more money, to buy new weapons and so forth. And the weapons in this game and the upgrades, they're not cheap. They're actually pretty pricey. So you will definitely go back to the missions and keep adding money to your wallet, if you will. In that way you can buy better weapons, better equipment, better upgrades and whatnot. So the game does have a pretty good replay value despite having a very short single player campaign, and it's just enjoyable. The game essentially feels like an arena shooter in the sense that usually the progression is you go from point A to point B and you get to an area that's pretty big, and you get enemies attacking you from pretty much every direction. The game is I would say it's a little bit challenging, and I had a little bit of a problem controlling. I do have to say that Resistance Burning Skies, which it's a much inferior game, I do have to say that game controls better than this one. For some reason the aiming in this game was a little bit off and a little bit hard to do, which was a little bit disappointing. And I don't know if that's because of the Vita sticks are a little bit too small for my big thumbs, or I don't know what the problem was. I played with the sensitivity of the sticks a lot, and I just couldn't get the right feel for the game. But despite that nuisance that I found, I think I still find myself enjoying the game greatly. It's just that the aiming was a little bit off, and I had trouble sometimes aiming at the enemies. And the game doesn't have an auto aim assist, so you really have to be accurate, and you really have to make good use of your reflexes and how to control the Vita sticks. So in that regard, it was a little bit difficult for me, but other than that, the game is very enjoyable. And like I said, the story is very short, but the good thing is that every time you beat a mission, which I believe there's 9 in total for the single player mode, you unlock contracts, and there are different types of contracts. I believe there's for example, like a demolition contract, or like an explosion contract, things like that, that basically they make you repeat the level, but you have to complete certain objectives, and you get a lot of money if you complete those contracts. And obviously you get different trophies and whatnot. I have not gone back yet, but each mission has 3 different types of contract, I believe. So you essentially have to beat each mission 1 time, and then you can go back and beat them 3 more times. So that's 4 times per mission. For 9 missions, that's 36. So if you're a completionist, you pretty much have to play each level 36 times, or a total of 36 times, if you want to complete everything and get all the trophies. So that alone, it's a lot of replay value. But the good news is that this game has a pretty solid online multiplayer. I did spend a little bit of time playing the regular team deathmatch mode, and it was pretty fun. The game has some kind of collectibles, because every time you kill an enemy you get a card, and if you collect a full deck of cards you get a good amount of money. And again, money is essential in this game because you can buy new weapons and customize your loadout in many different ways. And again, the progression, there's nothing too revolutionary about this first-person shooter. Like I said, it kind of feels like an arena shooter mixed with a lot of modern first-person shooter elements, such as script events and a story that tries to be cinematic and over the top. but it works remarkably well in this game, and I have to say it's really fun. The sound in this game is phenomenal, pretty good voice acting, and it gets the job done incredibly well. And just the nature of the game, it has a very easy pick up and play for quick bursts, because you can, every time you hit a checkpoint, you can just shut the game down and then come back and just resume your game. And it was a very enjoyable game with a very interesting story, short but interesting story, and a lot of replay value. So if you guys have a Vita and if you like first-person shooters, this is a no-brainer. This is a must-have. And again, it's a graphical showcase. Even if you don't like first-person shooters, I would say that this is worth owning, because this is kind of the reason why I have a Vita. The Vita is such a powerful handheld, much more powerful than the 3DS in terms of raw power. And I feel like there are not many games for the Vita that actually make full use of that power that the system has. And this is one of them, and Uncharted Golden Abyss. Those two stand out very, very much. But other than that, I think Sony dropped the ball a little bit. And I can't really blame them, because the Vita has been doing extremely poorly in terms of sales. So it's not a surprise that they're dropping support for the system slowly and steadily. But overall, Killzone Mercenary, if you have a Vita, buy the game. Even if you don't like first-person shooters, the game has different difficulty levels, and again, it has that arcadey type of gameplay where you collect money, you can buy new weapons, you can buy new Vanguard systems, which are really fun to use to kill bigger enemies and whatnot. So Killzone Mercenary, a very enjoyable game, and in my opinion, a must-have if you own a Vita system. So that's it for now. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all later.